Hello, testing, testing, testing. Are we live? Oh, we're live. All right then. Testing, testing, testing. Making sure my mic's working right here. Haven't streamed on YouTube in a while, so give me a moment while I set up and make sure all the audio is right. So, testing, testing. Well, wow, I just noticed the music stopped playing for like a good 3 minutes there. What's up, guys? What's up, everyone? How are we doing today? How are y'all doing? Hope you've had a great weekend. Let me see if you guys can hear that. What's up? What's up, guys? What's up, Ansaf? What's up, Farhan? Let me make sure this lo-fi isn't too loud in the background either. Let me lower that. What's up? What's up, guys? What's up, Ansaf? What's up, Farhan? All right, that should be good there. Let me know if that's too loud, but I think we're good. What's up? What's up? What's up, Ezekiel? What's up, Zohai? David? Hamad? Cheers from Argentina. Sweet. What's up? The tourist is finally back on the charts. Oh yes, it's been a long. This was a long, nice break. If you could even call it a break, I was still trading while I was away, but yeah, finally back at the desk, back on YouTube. We back. It's been a minute. Yep. Nice to see you all again. Nice to finally chat with you all here back on YouTube. It was a great trip. I got in a motorbike accident. I'm still dealing with that right now. It was pretty gnarly. And it was self-inflicted. It was so funny because there was no one around. Like, it was literally not a soul around, and somehow still fell. Got scraped up pretty bad. What's up? What's up, Edwin? What's up? Knight of Camelot. All right. What's up, folks? Trader. We'll get started soon here. I don't have a Telegram. That's an important announcement I should make. I don't have a Telegram, but I was made aware by someone in the Discord that there's a Sir Pickle Telegram out there with like 10,000 people in it. And I think it's paid. I don't know if those 10,000 people all paid to be in there. I have a high feeling it's a bot, all fake accounts. But don't get scammed on Telegram. Don't pay for anything on Telegram. I am not on Telegram. Never will be. Low audio? Is my mic that low? It's showing pretty loud. Let me see if I could increase that a little bit. Move it a little closer maybe. All right. Love Fritz from Switzerland. Sweet. Nice. Always wanted to go there. Nice to have you all here. Well, let's get started. So, as always, the first thing we do, let me lower this. The first thing we do when approaching a new week is look at the economic news calendar on Forex Factory. Nice little transition there. So we have the economic news calendar right here. As always, we use this as our roadmap, tell us which days are high probability, which days we should avoid and should focus on. So as we see today, right here, Monday, we have a USD bank holiday, and also a CAD bank holiday. I don't trade any of these. I don't trade any day that is a USD bank holiday. Go enjoy the grass. Go get away from the charts. Volatility isn't going to be there per usual like we usually see on days like this, which have red folder news, or even days with slack red folder news. If it's a bank holiday, you want to avoid that. All right. So I don't trade any of these. That's why I sat out Monday and we're doing the forecast today. All right. Loud and clear. Sweet. So yeah, Tuesday right here, which is tomorrow, we have plenty of red folder news Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. Over here on Tuesday, we have CHF red folder news, CPI. We have USD, 10 a.m. red folder news, 9:30 AUD news. So tomorrow will be a perfectly valid trade day for USD pairs, CHF pairs, AUD pairs, if you want to trade intraday. Any of those. Wednesday, right here, we have CAD red folder news, 9:45 a.m. Again, USD red folder news, CAD more red folder news at 10:30, and AUD at 10 p.m. So again, CAD pairs, USD pairs, and AUD pairs will be valid for those intraday trades. Thursday, plenty of USD red folder news here. So we have to keep in mind it is also an NFP week, right? NFP week is the first Friday of every new month, which would be this Friday right here. So the first Friday of every new month is NFP week. Typically, that Thursday before NFP Friday tends to be pretty low probability price action, lower volatility. And I'm saying tends. It doesn't guarantee that it is, which is why if you saw my economic calendar news post, I think yesterday, I said I will trade this. It's a valid trade day. Just exert more caution, all right? Because like I said, these Thursdays likely are held in consolidation in anticipation of the red folder news event, the big three red folder news event, which is NFP right here, for the real move, the real volatile move for the week. So this day right here tends to lack any sort of clear direction because Friday will likely bring that direction. So that doesn't mean though completely avoid it because we have 3 red folder news events right here, right? So we can see potential volatility, which is why I say just be more cautious and don't go into the day expecting a whole lot. But if you do see price action showing the intention to want to move that day, it can, right? And if I'll be super picky on this Thursday, right? I'll be looking for my unicorn setups on ES and Q right here on this Thursday. I will be extremely picky though and very cautious. I will not be aggressive, right? Because of what I just explained right here. NFP Thursdays can be a little tricky. So that is the economic news calendar right here. Let's go back to the charts. And there we go. And begin over here on DXY. As always, starting from the higher time frame charts, monthly down into the daily. These 3 time frames right here is what we will put majority of our focus on whenever we're doing our weekly forecast and analyzing charts for the upcoming week, right? Because we want to always be trading the cleanest higher time frame charts that have context, right? And context for me will be found for all these pairs, the monthly, the weekly, and the daily minimum right there. For the swing model specifically, for indices, it is different, as you probably now know. We don't need daily context minimum for those unicorn setups. We can get a little more creative in the way we use our time frame alignments right there. Are we still live? Okay, yeah, we're live. Just making sure. All right. So, dollar index right here. On a monthly basis, what's the order flow? Not very clear, right? We're pretty much consolidating right here. So what we're doing at the moment on the monthly is taking this discount array right here, this monthly swing low. So that's pretty much the only information we have on a monthly basis. We are respecting this monthly discount array. Why are we respecting it? What do I mean by respect? We're not closing below it with a body, right? We're not getting a candle body closure. We're showing a nice large lower wick right here, showing respect to that level, right? This right here is that intention to push higher. Likely on a daily time frame, you will see daily fair value gaps within this range right there, right? So we're not disrespecting that low, that little body with a nice body candle closure like that, because if we did, then the bias gets very easy on dollar. We're likely just going to go for this next discount array, ultimately into this level right here, which is just a yearly fair value gap, right? Let me just show you what that is. This is just that yearly fair value gap we are, in my opinion, drawing towards to. We need a little more confirmation before we can actually trade in that direction, right? So think of this as yearly external to internal right there. All right, so let's go back to the monthly chart. Go back to the monthly chart here. So what we're doing right here is we're respecting an opposing PD array, right? Because if we look at the weekly order flow, what's it telling us? The weekly order flow is bearish, right? What's our most recent order flow leg? Right here. It's pointing to the downside. But what are we doing on the monthly? We're respecting an opposing PD array, right? An opposing discount array. So again, if you take this one step further and go down to the daily, there's that daily fair value gap I mentioned you would likely see as a result of that monthly respect to that monthly swing low, that monthly discount array. So going back up to the weekly, we do have context, right? We have context. This is the first time frame right now that we can establish context. We don't look at this daily and go back to the daily here. We don't look at this daily fair value gap for IRD Euro because we always want to work with the highest time frame and then just stop there for our context, right? So this weekly right here, it's showing us weekly internal to external. But since we are respecting this opposing monthly discount rate, this monthly swing low, this is a scenario where I will demand more confirmation. So instead of looking for that singular 4-hour gap lower, I'm going to look for 2 4-hour gap lowers. So something like this on dollar, I'm not just going to be bearish, look for setups on the majors here on that first confirmation. I'm going to demand more confirmation first, and then I'll trade that second confirmation, right? Let's go back to the weekly. And that's pretty much all I'm looking for, right? This is also we could consider that a lower probability fair value gap just because of how aggressively it displaced back into this expansion phase right here, right? So on the daily chart, that third candle of the weekly created that third candle of the weekly fair value gap, which would be this right here, created displacement towards the weekly gap creation, right? Via this daily fair value gap, right? So we don't like to see that. It's an area of resistance showing a lot of intention, right? Especially like we just mentioned, the fact that we just swept the monthly swing low, we're showing intention and push higher off of that, right? So if we don't get those confirmations, we can easily just continue pushing higher right here off of that monthly swing low sweep, and then just go for these next highs right here, right? We'll observe that. If we do get a daily fair value gap higher like this, completely disrespecting this weekly gap, well, then I will look at that daily gap to then potentially trade higher like that. All right, so I don't want to do anything right here until I get those confirmations, the extra confirmation lower via daily gap lower, or those 4-hour fair value gaps lower, or we get a daily fair value gap displacing above this weekly and disrespecting it, and we could just now look for higher prices off of that. So that's my outlook on dollar there. I want to be leaning bearish because of this weekly context, also this overlapping old swing high, but I do understand, we have to understand that this monthly is being respected. So we're just going to have to demand a little more confirmation before we get comfortable with continuing lower on dollar. That's the main idea there. Let's go to, is my mic low? I think it's fine. Let's go to Euro. On a monthly basis, this looks very similar to dollar, very consolidation like consolidation like price action right here. Not really much we're doing. We're just, again, respecting this monthly swing high at the moment. On a weekly basis, again, one of those very ugly fair value gap creations where you can sort of classify fair value gaps. This right here is not a pretty retracement into a fair value gap due to how strong that displacement is, right? So when you see something like that, that's when I want to demand more confirmation, just like we saw on dollar over here, because now we have a bunch of daily fair value gaps displacing lower. I'm just gonna have to demand more confirmation than the typical 4-hour fair value gap right there, right? We're gonna want to just demand more. Okay, when in doubt, demand more confirmation. There's nothing wrong with that. So on a weekly basis, I'm not a fan of how aggressively this is coming down. I do know and I am aware. Well, let me unmark all of these so we can start from scratch. I'm already aware that GBP right here is the stronger asset. So if dollar does want to start turning lower, I'm going to look at GBP for the longs. Now, if dollar starts disrespecting this weekly gap, then I want to look at the weaker pair, right? Because now we're likely going to start seeking liquidity, seeking higher prices on dollar if we start disrespecting this weekly gap. Then I'll look at euro to short. All right. So that's how I'm viewing those things right now. It's basically trading the scenario which dollar ends up playing out. Just trade euro or GBP based on if it fails that weekly gap or if it wants to work lower off of that weekly gap. So GBP looks quite nice here. Very, very strong. Let's go to the monthly. Right, this monthly fair value gap expanded higher. Also, again, we're respecting this monthly swing high right here. So what I want to do is not be very aggressive in this weekly fair value gap, in this weekly context we see right here, and just demand more confirmation, right? So we have another overlapping array. This is just an overlapping order block, a series of down close candles off of a higher time frame point of interest followed by displacement. This is a high probability order block, these series of down close candles. Very high probability order block. So we could retrace down into that with dollar also retracing into this overlapping array there. Again, much like I were waiting on dollar, I want to demand more confirmation out of the weekly here, not just getting that first 4 hour fair value gap displacing away if we come into this, right? So I wouldn't just play this first one away, which is what a lot of people get wrong. They think you can just take the first 4 hour gap into any weekly level. But you have to be aware of certain conditions that we are in and certain opposing PD arrays we are respecting. Okay, it's not as simple as weekly 4 hour every single time. You're going to take a lot of unnecessary losses if you do that. You have to factor in a few other things. So again, just demanding more confirmation out of this, but this does look nice if we are going to move lower off a dollar, weekly internal to external, right there. Not bad, but we're gonna need more confirmation. So AUD, same thing pretty much. We're already trying to expand higher here. What happened on this daily? Working higher off of this daily swing low sweep. Let's delete this. Nothing we could really do with this at the moment. If it's just going to expand higher, well then we're just going to have to let that go. Again, waiting on dollar to see what it wants to do off of this weekly gap. Also, NZD is the stronger asset at the moment. It's stronger than AUD. So we'd want to focus on that. Actually, hold up. Let me check up AUD NZD. What is that doing right now? Interesting. Strong AUD, strong AZ, stronger AUD. You're seeing quite a hefty retracement higher. I would have liked to see this expand lower, seeing how we disrespected that low, closed below it. That would have been my expectation. But we're seeing quite an aggressive retracement back up right now. So if this ends up creating a daily fair value gap, well then AUD is going to be the stronger asset. We would focus on that for longs right there. But until that happens, I still don't want to trade AUD right here or NZD. Just moving higher without that weekly context, and NZD, no context being given here yet. We do have this weekly overlapping array with this weekly fair value gap. Either way, I do like GU mostly here for those long ideas, so we'll keep that. Let me look at chat right here. Why do we not consider? Okay, you said never mind. When you have a weekly fair value gap and a daily fair value gap, for example, a 4 hour overlapping, which do you use for entry and lower time frame? Weekly 4 hour or daily 1 hour or 15-minute? Do you just take what you see as best value? Let me read that again. Weekly fair value gap. 4 hour value gap. I don't know why in my head I just can't picture what you're trying to tell me. If you have a visual example, I work best with pictures. So if you have a nice visual example on the chart, I can look at. Be easy to break that down. So we have CAD right here, looking quite nice. The start of the monthly, as always. CAD monthly chart. We are sweeping this monthly discount array, this monthly swing low, seeing a very nice aggressive retracement back into the range. So weekly order flow is shifting bullish here. We have a weekly fair value gap with an overlapping old swing high. This looks quite nice. It's looking quite strong. I will keep this on the long watch right there. It's looking quite nice. Let's put that in the long watch. We have weekly context right here. Again, waiting on dollar, seeing it, what it wants to do right there, waiting for dollar to get confirmed. And then we can start looking to trade these. But these do have nice context right here. We do have nice weekly context cooking up right here if dollar doesn't want to work lower. USD, JP, no, sorry. This is CHF. So these are futures right now. We're looking at the futures. We don't even have to open those majors right here. Weekly context here. Very suspicious though how we failed to close above that swing high right here. Again, an area now that I'd like to demand more confirmation. We're respecting an opposing premium array. And forming daily fair value gaps lower. So an area you want to demand more confirmation out of. And then UJ, I don't like it. I don't like it because we failed to expand higher right here. Failed to create the new weekly fair value gap off of this weekly fair value gap right here. So what I do think happens over here, just based on this weekly level, is we're going to now seek liquidity at this swing low. Since we failed to create that new fair value gap higher, we're likely going to now seek this discount array right here. Let's go to the daily. If there's a daily fair value gap, that would pretty much make that very high probability we likely seek that low. And we do have a fair value gap on a daily basis right here. So I do think UJ now goes for this low. Delete that. Daily 1 hour. Okay, yeah. Yeah, I'm bearish on UJ right here, aiming for that swing low. Let's delete this right here. Also, this level right here, monthly order block. So that's a monthly order block. And remember, monthly order flow has been extremely bearish. So that was the level I was watching for potential resistance, which we are seeing right now. Some signatures of not wanting to continue expanding higher. See this large rejection once we hit that. And then again, we had this weekly fair value gap, which could have potentially pushed us past that level. It tried to right here, created that expansion phase of a potential weekly fair value gap right here. But on this third candle, negated it. So no longer creating that fair value gap, no longer showing that intention to want to actually push higher off of this weekly gap. So if we're failing to show that intention right here on this third candle, well then what's likely to happen next? Market's always doing something, seeking liquidity, offering fair value. If we're no longer going to show the intention to want to seek liquidity with this fair value gap right here, we're going to seek this liquidity right here at this swing low, this opposing liquidity. And we are seeing fair value gaps in the opposite direction on the daily time frame. So the daily fair value gap right here. Check UJ. Did UJ do something? Because yeah, this one's not moving here. Yeah, UJ also same thing pretty much. Just inversed, right? This is the reason it's inverse, if you don't know, is because this is yen futures, right? So this is JPY USD and this is USD JPY. Right, so this is going to follow the direction on dollar because USD right here is the base currency. And then over here, JPY is the base currency, and then dollar is the quote currency. So it's going to be inversed of whatever dollar is doing. Got it? So if we want to look at UJ, I'd be bullish on UJ right here towards that swing high. I'm sure we have daily fair value gap right here being created. So this right here would be my drawn liquidity on UJ. Let's go back to where we were at. So yeah, it's pretty much the majors right there. Nothing I would like to trade personally on this. Again, waiting for dollar. So let's now look at the indices right here. Let's look at the indices, close these currencies, look, indices and commodities. Let's look at the indices and commodities. Give me one moment. All right, we're back. Let's look at ES right here. Let's delete this level. Make it nice and clean. So let's start from the monthly first. All right, so on a monthly basis, we are rejecting this monthly order block right here, moving higher off of that. This is also SMT with NQ right there on the actual swing low. So if you want to see it as that or rejecting the order block, that's fine. So monthly order flow clearly is bullish on indices. So we want to be in line of that. On a weekly basis, weekly order flow is also bullish. So that's great. We want to have all the time frames in alignment of each other. So I want to expect higher prices right here, right? So it's very simple right here. Weekly internal to external. Right here. We're about to hit that external. Also, just want to see follow through higher all the way up to all-time highs from here, right? So from a previous weekly fair value gap, or from any previous fair value gap, we want to expect expansion through that high, creating new fair value gaps, right? So I want to remain bullish here, expecting price to draw towards this all-time high right here. So on a weekly basis, very nice, clean direction we have going on for us. On the daily, there's that staying into the weekly gap, just slowly inching higher right here. Still haven't swept that external. Let's go to the 4 hour. So on a 4 hour basis, it's quite nice follow through. So if this was a normal trading day, if this was a normal trading day right here, we're coming into Monday. It's a normal trading day. It's not a bank holiday. This would be the 4 hour context. I would go down into the lower time frames and look for my unicorn setup out of, right? Because we have that weekly context. We have our PD array off that weekly, right? So we have a PD array in line with our bias. We can use that as the reason we can now dive into our lower time frames inside a kill zone, right? So with time aligning, and then look for our unicorn model 2R and call it a day. Again, I don't trade bank holidays, but this is nice follow through right here off this 4 hour gap we are seeing right here. Likely going to just go for this weekly external right there. So very nice delivery over here. This 4 hour gap ended up holding. The real reason we went higher is because of this 4 hour swing low sweep. And I do believe there may have been a unicorn setup here. I don't trade the PM session. But it's nice to study it. So we had this 4 hour swing low sweep. So this is an extremely valid unicorn right here. I believe we saw one right here. There's your breaker. There is your fair value gap. We want to see a closure above the breaker high, which would have been right there. And then we would put our limit order at the breaker high. should be right here. Stop loss at the low. Why is that bugging out? Stop loss at the low, and then target a simple 2R right there. And that is a gorgeous unicorn. Actually, that is actually so gorgeous. What the fuck? You trade the unicorn? Yes, sir. Yes, sir. When will you release the unicorn model video? So yeah, that video, it's been delayed. We can say it's been delayed. I've ordered a bunch of equipment. I'm going to be rebranding, or let me not say rebranding. Well, kind of. Or bumping up the quality in the YouTube videos. So I ordered a bunch of stuff, a bunch of equipment. I have to set that all up. I'm going to make the YouTube videos very nice now. So I got to set that all up, and I'll work on it once I have everything ready to go. It's coming. Don't worry. I haven't forgotten about it. Just give me a little more time. I'm trying to make things very, very nice. You're going to notice in the next video, the quality is going to increase dramatically. Oh, you heard the sound effect? Okay, I thought it didn't go through. Sweet. So yeah, that's a new thing I got. I got a stream deck. So we got little sound effects, right? Here's another one. Here's another one for you. I love it. I'm gonna have so much fun with this thing. Yeah. All right. But yeah, this is a clean unicorn right there. Gorgeous. Gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous. Let's go back to where we were. Bullish on indices. All right. So we're basically coming into tomorrow. What I would look for on ES is potentially just another 4 hour for value gap we can play. If we get another one overnight coming into the New York session, I would play any 4 hour for value gap that's right here and expect higher prices. Look for unicorns, 4 hour for value gaps, or also stop hunts, right? So it could also just be a stop hunt to then go higher. That's why I say it's a bit different than the swing model for this indices unicorn model. We can be a little more creative. What's your top pick for this week? My top picks for this week are ES and NQ. I really am loving trading indices ever since I really started focusing on the unicorn model. My focus every week really primarily is always going to be ES and NQ, right? And I made a tweet about this a couple days ago on why I'm shifting over to futures more. Not that, again, that doesn't mean I'm completely abandoning Forex. But if as a US based trader, the benefits definitely outweigh any reason to trade Forex. It's kind of a no-brainer if you have a very nice profitable system to just trade futures if you can. Tax benefits, that 60-40 rule is very nice. Literally zero spreads, sniper fills, more regulated market, just one singular price feed, CME right here. It's very nice as a US based trader to just focus on futures. So this week, again, even with the current time frames or the current higher time frame charts, it's very clear my bias on indices. So that's why it's very easy to play them right now. Let's look at ES and Q. Yeah, ES and NQ. Let's look at NQ right here. Very clear direction on NQ in my opinion here. Sweeping this monthly swing low. Bullish order flow. Any swing low should be seen just as a stop hunt to then continue higher, right? So we're not scared when price is trading all the way down here. We're not thinking, oh my God, we're gonna have a major crash right here. No. We're gonna view that swing low as a potential reason to push higher. Just taking all these stops, collecting all that liquidity here to then push higher, which is exactly what happened here. Look at this insane respect to that low. Humongous intention to displace higher. Go to the weekly, and there's that intention to push higher off that monthly swing low sweep. We had a weekly for value gap. So now weekly order flow is pointing higher. Monthly bullish order flow, weekly bullish order flow. All the time frames are in alignment right here, the higher time frame. So NQ, pretty clear picture. Also, a great respect candle right here to this weekly gap. No body closures within this. Really nice intention. If you go to the daily, that's likely a daily for value gap higher or not. 4 hour for value gaps higher. Yeah, that's better. 4 hour for value gaps higher. We want to see those hold, and those are holding right now at the moment. This was SMT. Remember, ES swept this actual swing low, and we found that 15-minute unicorn. So that's just SMT on those lows. Very nice. And then we're just following up through higher. This high marked is simply just equal highs right here. Equal highs serve as a very, think of them as a magnet. Whenever you see very equal highs like this, the market tends to seek them and draw towards them, right? So that's why I have these highs marked right here. They're just simply 4 hour equal highs. So again, NASDAQ, I'm bullish. We'll literally just play any 4 hour context we have going into tomorrow for unicorns. So that's ES and NQ. I'm just bullish bias towards this external range liquidity on a weekly basis there on NQ. As we can tell though, ES is definitely stronger. So that's why I will focus on ES for longs as it is stronger. It's closer to that drawn liquidity right there. Showing more respect to this weekly gap right here. See, just notice this candle right there. It's a green up close candle. This is a down close candle. So also just, you can eyeball it. How closer are we to that swing high, that all-time high? Much closer on ES, which ticker here actually swept the swing low, NQ. So it's weaker. Actually had to go down to that low, whereas ES did not, right? So very easily, you can eyeball strength right there. It's not very hard, not very hard. So let's go to the commodities right here. Let's go to the commodities, start on the monthly chart right here. On a monthly basis, we're not much we can work with. We're just near all-time high territory right here with nothing to the left that we can frame as any sort of resistance. So we're continuing pushing higher. I would expect this to just keep chugging along, right? No reason to be ultra bearish right here. On a weekly basis, we have a weekly fair value gap right here that looks like we are likely going to draw into that right here. The reason I say that is because if you look at the daily, is this daily fair value gap, this daily context right here, showing you any intention that it just already wants to push higher off of that? No, it's not creating any sort of new daily fair value gaps. It's really lacked any sort of volatility, any sort of expansion, any sort of direction right here to want to continue pushing higher. So what I believe is happening right here is we're just consolidating, getting ready to have a sting into this weekly gap and then potentially move higher off of that, right? We'd have to wait for the lower time frame confirmations, but that is what we will look for there. So gold, I'd be really just waiting for this weekly gap. Also overlapping with this order block right here. Quite nice. I'll be waiting for that for potential weekly internal to external right there. So let me set an alert actually. Nice. On silver here, Forex over? No, Forex is not over. I still trade Forex. I still love it. Nothing's wrong with it. As a US based trader, there's just more benefits to trading futures if you have a good system for it. So it's a no-brainer to shift focus there, if that makes sense. And all that is a shift in focus, not a complete abandonment. There's nothing wrong with Forex. It's not like Forex doesn't work. It's not like my model now, it's just stopped working. It's not effective. I've given up on it. You know, I'm shiny object syndrome. I'm switching over to something else. That's not the case at all. Forex works. The model works. It's fine. It's just the reasons I outlined. Let's look at, yeah, gold and silver are correlated. Of course, yeah, they are correlated. So as you can see, silver is weaker than gold at the moment. Very obvious. Oh, oh, you meant the forecast. Yeah, we just went over the majors right there. So let's go to silver right here. With silver, we have weekly context to the downside right here. Let's go to the monthly first. Let's see what's happening. On a monthly basis, order flow is bullish based on this most recent order flow leg right here. But we don't have many for value gap right here to work with. We have this very deep one right here. But let's go to the weekly. A little more of a clear picture right here. You referred to JPY futures as UJ. Yeah, I just misspoke. JPY futures is just JPY futures. UJ is obviously USD JPY. And no, that's different. So that's a great question. Wouldn't you wait for dollar to be cleared in order to trade gold and silver? No, just like I don't wait for dollar to be clear to trade ES and NQ, right? Dollar right here is directly correlated to the majors. As you can literally see, USD, 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 USD. It is directly correlated to the majors. It is the world reserve currency. So that is going to directly affect all these majors. Whereas ES, well, it's not tied to dollar in the sense that it's part of a forex pair. Dollar does, you can use it as an instrument to gauge what indices are likely to do, but I found that with experience that confuses me more times than not, right? Trying to get dollar in alignment. So what I've done when I'm trading ES, when I'm trading NQ and commodities, I don't even factor in dollar. I treat them as their own thing because many times it will do its own thing. Okay? So I just look at ES on its own. I don't really pay attention to what dollar's doing, the confirmations, blah, blah, blah. That's really only mainly when I'm doing majors, when I'm trading the majors. I want dollar to be clear. But for ES, NQ, gold, silver, oil, not really. I don't really need dollar to be confirmed. Let's look at gold. Again, yeah, gold. And then silver over here. I don't want to really pay attention to silver. It's not very nice at the moment. We do have weekly context lower. Well, let me not say it's not too nice at the moment. We do have nice weekly context with the daily fair value gaps lower right here. Come on, what's going on right here? Can't even. All right, fuck that daily gap. Taking one more look at the weekly right here. Yeah, it's a very aggressive pullback higher. Not the typical fair value gap, right? Because a nice high probability fair value gap would create it, consolidate, and then just use it right away to then go lower. We had all this price action afterwards. It's a very aggressive sting to then continue lower. Also sweeping this swing low right here and displacing higher. We'll keep an eye on it. If we do get the confirmations that we want to go lower off this daily gap, could be interesting. Could be interesting. I'll set an alert right here. Because maybe as silver wants to come into this gap and go lower, gold will make its move down towards its weekly fair value gap. Ew. Ew. This is probably the nastiest chart I've seen in a long time. Very gross. Monthly, disgusting consolidation. Weekly, nasty consolidation. I mean, just look at all these wicks. Look at that failure to expand. Manipulation all over the place. We're just I mean, look at this. We're slowly just narrowing in. Yeah, I don't know. It's just gross. There's no direction here. Oil's been pretty nasty for a while now. Even on this daily chart, extremely nasty. Look at this. Just getting smaller and smaller. Nasty. I'm not even going to look at it anymore. Let's move on to the next. We can look at crosses. Let's look at crosses. Although, again, since I have shifted over to futures a lot, I've had less focus overall to be able to trade the crosses. But let's take a gander over here. All right, monthly swing low swept on a weekly basis. We have this weekly fair value gap. We disrespected it, but now we're pushing back lower and then down lower off of this order block right here. Let's put this here. Could be nice. Look at the daily. The fuck was that? Oh, that's so funny. That's so funny. I'm gonna have so much fun with that. I'm gonna have so much fun with that. This is euro. We want to have a bearish bullish CHF. I'm not really a fan. GBP gross. AUD CHF gross. 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 All right, we're sweeping that monthly swing high on a weekly basis, displacing lower. I'd rather wait for that weekly context to get developed. We do have. We have daily context here. Euro CAD. And we are bullish on CAD, so the XXX CAD pairs would be bearish. Could be interesting. Euro CAD, it is the weaker pair between Euro and GBP. All right, not bad. Keep an eye on that. That daily fair value gap. Oh. Oh. Avoid that at all cost. NZD, no for value gaps. Yeah. Crosses are cool and all, but futures are better. Let's go to weekly right here. Weekly for value gap filling to be offered right there. Weekly fair value not being offered. We have a weekly daily fair value gap right here. Whoops. Could be interesting. That could be interesting. Euro, AUD, GBP, AUD. I'm going to keep this on the short watch. This looks quite interesting. Euro, AUD. What does a monthly look like again? Monthly is looking quite gross. Harsh rejection right here. So next monthly discount rate we could target is that monthly swing low. Let's go to the weekly. Weekly. Displacing lower. No fair value gap just yet. Extremely small one right there, actually. But we are disrespecting this weekly gap right here. This weekly area of fair value. We're likely going to seek liquidity lower. We do have daily context to already do that potentially. So this could be quite interesting. I'm gonna keep that on watch right there. Ooh. All right, Euro NZD. All right. Pretty much same idea here. Just sweeping this monthly swing high. Next discount rate we can target would be this monthly swing low right there. Let's go to the weekly. Failing to offer fair value. Weekly fair value gaps to the downside. Weekly order flow shifting bearish right here. Let's go to the daily. Do we have daily fair value gaps? We do. We do. Again, I'm just marking up the crosses on their own. I'm not worrying about comparing the currency futures right now. I'm really just looking at their respective higher time frame charts, and then later in the week is when I'll look at the currency futures. If it's time to take a trade, I will reference them, make sure they are in alignment, or I'll filter this later, make sure they're in alignment. But for right now, I'm simply just looking at the crosses for what they are, and not really looking at, oh, it was NZD bullish, so we can be bearish here. Pretty much what I'm doing right now at the moment. Just charting them straight up. All right, we have a weekly fair value gap. That's a weekly bag right here. It's a breakaway gap. I don't expect price to want to retrace all the way there, so let's make that a weekly bag. And why is this swing low not marked up? Let's mark that up. Daily fair value gap right here. So we can already observe if we have any sort of 1 hour gaps. When did we have NZD news? Let's transition real quick. NZD news. Uh-oh. We don't have NZD news. Do we have Euro news? Uh-oh. No Euro NZD news, so we can't even trade this one right here. Because for swings, we need red folder news on the actual week. Uh-oh. Do we have... How do I get back there? Do we have orange folder news? That's also valid as well. Nope. So scrap it. Up to the next one. Let's go back here. All right. GBP NZD though. Euro's been weaker. I wouldn't want to trade the stronger pair here. Euro JPY. GBP JPY. Let's go to the monthly. Okay. Let's mark up a few things here. Monthly gap on Euro JPY. This is why this weekly fair value gap right here is likely not sending price lower. Price wants to seek that monthly fair value gap. Daily basis. I do think Euro JPY goes for that monthly gap, so I'm be bullish on that until we get up there. And then off of that monthly gap, we will have to see what kind of reactions we get lower off of that, because that could be nice for lower prices if we get that daily shift right here. Once we get into the monthly gap, daily fair value gaps lower, could be quite nice for Euro JPY right here. But waiting on that monthly gap, I'll just set an alert right here. GBP JPY, pretty much the same story here. Right, this is why we're not pushing lower off this weekly gap, right? We want to take into account that monthly fair value gap. The higher the time frame, the stronger of a magnet it will act on price. So here we are actually touching that monthly gap on GBP JPY right here. And if we see that daily start to shift and the daily shifts on Euro JPY right here without touching that, we can already trade Euro JPY and just view that as SMT instead of higher time frame POI, and just want to trade that weaker one. But again, we need to see that context formed on Euro JPY, just like if it were to just form on GJ right here. But we'll keep an eye out on this. I'm gonna do something right here. Little secret sauce. so I can get an alert when that gap gets created. The monthly into a daily. Let's go to the daily. Let's set an alert. All right. And you're good. All right, sweet. So I'll get alerted on that. AUD JPY. Sweeping the swing low. Also got a monthly gap right here. All right. Which is why this weekly fair value gap didn't hold. We're waiting for that monthly gap right here. So again, if we do see that daily shift, could be interesting. Although the monthly order flow has been very bearish, right? So what do we, very bullish. So what do we know about bullish order flow? As we discussed earlier, when we seek lows in bullish order flow, we expect that to just be a stop, right? And we see very nice respect to that right here. So potentially a bit of a weird monthly gap right here that we will have to demand a little more confirmation out of. If we want to continue pushing lower. NZD, JPY. You can see that as SMT on the lows. All these JPY pairs look the same. The reason Euro looks the most bearish though is because Euro has been quite weak. CAD JPY right here as well. But we do have monthly context on all these JPY pairs right here. So we'll be watching those if we do want to shift lower off of that. All these JPY pairs have monthly context. CHF JPY looks like it's the strongest right here, actually. Again, we'll have to see how we react out of this monthly gap. Does the daily ever want to shift here, or do we just keep on displacing higher above it? We will have to see. We have yet to see. AUD, NZD, I think I already went over this. Yeah, I think I already went over this. Waiting for that daily, potential daily for value gap being created here, and then AUD will likely take over in strength from there, using that daily for value gap as a reason to push higher. Because that's a very suspicious retracement back up after closing below it. I would have wanted to see this become a weekly fair value gap right here. So what we're doing is we're negating that weekly fair value gap. So that makes it very suspicious, not showing that intention to push lower, right? So if we start getting daily fair value gaps higher, we might start seeking this swing high up here. Keep an eye on that, waiting for that daily fair value gap. It's for relative strength purposes. I don't trade AZ or EG directly. And then this right here just looks like we're drawing down towards this monthly swing low. That's our obvious draw on liquidity right here. Weekly order flow is bearish. Weekly breakaway gap right here. And let's go to the daily. Do we have any fair value gaps that we could already move lower off of? Right here we have one potentially. So bearish on EG. If we were to come back up into this, I would expect lower prices down towards that low. And then we can just mark this up as a weekly bag. All right. Sweet. Not bad. Let me just also set an alert here. But this is why EU has been weak and GU has been strong. We have a weak EG. You can even just look at these notes, a little cheat sheet right here. You have a weak EG, you have a weak EU and a stronger GU, which we can observe right here. Weaker EU, stronger GU, right? Just based on the weekly fair value gap creations right here as well. Look how aggressive that displacement was, and look how in contrast to that, this candle closed. So that is the weekly forecast right there. Main watches for me, I think you now know it's going to be the indices right here, looking for unicorns. We do have, if dollar wants to move lower, just a quick recap if you joined late, if dollar wants to move lower, I want to demand more confirmation right here off this weekly gap because of the respect to this monthly swing low right there. So I will demand just more confirmation than our typical 4-hour change in the state of delivery off of a weekly level. Just demand one more confirmation. All right, via another fair value gap. And then once we get that, GU will be my main focus for longs, should we want that. UCAD also looking quite strong right here, just based on how this third candle of the weekly fair value gap closed. It's an up close candle right here, so it's looking quite strong in terms of this weekly context right there. I don't like this CHF because of how we rejected and respected this opposing premium array right here. UJ, not a fan, didn't create that new weekly fair value gap, likely seeing that swing low. And NZD also quite strong right here, with this, the way this candle closed. So let me also mark that on the long watch. AUD potentially could take over in strength, as we are seeing with that AUD NZD potentially shifting bullish, which is why this is showing some more strength right now at the moment. So I'm also just going to watch this and keep an eye on these right here for swings once dollar decides to shift. Again, if dollar doesn't shift and we just start displacing higher, disrespecting that weekly gap because of how we're respecting this monthly array, and do want to now just move higher off of that because of the monthly profile that we're in, consolidation, that's what typically happens. We just sweep swing lows to then seek swing highs, sweep sell side to then sweep buy side. It's what typically happens, right? There's no intention. Fair value gaps are not being respected here, so we're gonna have to just watch the swing lows for potential areas we can then move higher off of. Very typical consolidation price action. So that could easily be a scenario right here on dollar where we just push higher, which is why I'm demanding more confirmation. So yeah, that's everything. Let me take a look at chat right there. I hope that was insightful. Yeah, I analyzed gold already. I'm just watching this weekly fair value gap for potential higher prices. I think what the other guy meant was that what you saw in JPY pairs, what do you use as confirmation when there is both monthly and weekly bearish fair value gaps? The 4-hour or 1 hour? Let's look at JPY one more time, yeah? Oh, JPY pairs. What do you use as confirmation when there is both monthly and weekly bearish? I forget. Oh, I always use the higher time frame, right? So if there's a monthly fair value gap like we saw on the JPY pairs, I would look for that daily fair value gap lower. Or you can look for 2 4-hour high probability legs lower. You have either or, the option, either or. How do you separate the days in the charts? That's very easy. It's a nice little indicator called ICT Everything right here by It's Rosh LOL. And these are the settings if you want to pause and just take a look at these when you have the time. And GU and EU bullish. Yeah, I already went over that. That was GU more bullish. We can put it that way. GU is more bullish. EU not really looking as hot right there. And if dollar does decide to want to push higher right here, what do we notice on EU and GU, right? Let's play devil's advocate right here and say dollar fails this weekly fair value gap right there. We would observe SMT on the highs right here. let's take it one step higher. We can observe SMT on the highs right here. Both are respecting that what do I call it? Monthly swing high, that premium rate, that monthly premium rate, failing to close above it. So we're respecting that level, right? We're also seeing SMT with these highs right here, right? See how GU swept it, EU didn't. Potential be early confirmation that this could potentially be a high, and we start pushing lower off of this if dollar again wants to push higher off of that. So if that's the case, then for shorts, I would look at EU since it is weaker. So we react and adapt to price. We don't marry a bias. I am totally fine with whatever scenario happens here. I am totally good with either or. We'll react and adapt accordingly. Don't marry a bias. Is Alpha Capital Discord down? I have no idea. I've never used them. Can I trade NAS 100 instead of NQ? Price is different. Yes, they are different. NAS 100 is the CFD, so it's going to have a different price feed. NQ right here is the real data feed, right, from CME. This is a real NQ price action. So the CFD, it does differ. You can trade it though. If you can't trade NQ, but if you do have the option to trade NQ, there's no reason not to just trade it directly and trade it through a CFD, right? So, but yeah, you can totally trade NAS 100 if that's your only option. Go for it. Can you analyze Bank Nifty or Nifty? Let's take a look at that. I've never even typed it up. Nifty. Is this the right one? Nifty 50 index. Oh my god. It's a lot of gaps. I don't even know where to begin. It's a lot of gaps, my friend. That's why I don't look at Nifty. Assuming this is the right one. I've never ever taken a look. Why is NQ not live updating? Well, it's a bank holiday. Oh, sorry. Sorry, no. That was for these right here, I think. The futures who are not updating right now. How do I pay for it on trading? You're gonna have to, you're gonna have to figure that one out. There's an option right there. You'll play around and find it. I believe, I don't exactly remember where I went to pay for the data, but it's somewhere there. It's somewhere in there. Had Nifty. Okay, let's gift Nifty. What? Is this it? Bank Nifty? Yeah, I don't know. That's a fat volume imbalance if you just want to mark that up. Which is your daily context, or sorry, that's your monthly context. Monthly internal to external. Could be interesting. I mean, it's kind of hard to tell. I like seeing fair value gaps. That's a lot of gaps. Yeah. Bullish on Bank Nifty. Well, why not? Nice monthly context right there. How many years have you been trading? I've been trading like almost 4 years now. Coming up on 4 years. A couple of those years were just straight up trading bull flags, wedges, EMAs. All the good stuff. I've been through it all. I've traded everything. MACD, RSI. Something called alligator EMAs. Stochastics, I think. What else? There was something else I used to use a lot. I forgot. They have some weird names. All kinds of oscillators, all kinds of this and that. All kinds of garbage. I've tried it all. I've tried it all just to end up, it's so funny how life works. I've done it all just to end up literally using a rectangle and a line. That's all you'll see when I'm marking up my charts. Literally just this right here and this right here come full circle. Literally, I'm just using these shapes, and you can predict the largest financial markets on planet Earth just using a box and line. It's very mind-blowing, honestly, sometimes thinking about that, how simple it's all become. It is mind-blowing sometimes. What's your preferred prop firm? Account for type swings? If we're talking about futures, there's only one. It's on Elite Trader Funding right now. There's only one. If you want to swing futures and hold overnight, I think they are the only prop firm that allows that overnight holding. They have a nice sale right now if you want to check that out. For Forex, I really like FXify. They have no news restrictions, right? So that's very big if you want to look at swinging Forex. You have to make sure that your prop firm does not restrict news trading, right? Because some prop firms will make you, let's say you're in a position and news sends price to your TP and you get executed out, right? Your TP hits, you're out. You will get hit with a breach if that prop firm you're using has news restrictions, right? Because a lot of them will require you to remove all orders or not trade 5 minutes before news and 5 minutes after news. If your TP gets hit during news, you're going to get hit with a breach. And that's a fucking shame because we demand or we rely on news heavily, us as swing traders, we rely on news heavily for that volatility and for that follow through towards our TPs, right? Because we don't see, the way we view news isn't random, right? We view news as a smoke screen for what price is already likely to do. So if we understand and have news as part of it's built into our strategy and we're relying on it for that expansion, those higher probability expansion days, it makes no sense for if you're a swing trader to go with a prop firm that has news restrictions, right? It makes trading very hard because now you're going to have to remove your TP at news release. And who knows if on that news release you hit TP quickly and then we see a huge rejection lower. Suddenly you get hit with a loss because price reversed right at the level where you should have been out, right? And that's unfortunate. News can do that sometimes. And it's just a shame, right? So FXify, again, it's one I really like that they have no news restriction rules, right? And there's a few of them out there, so you just have to look and make sure the one you're currently with doesn't have those restrictions. I'm from India because of you. I'm profitable in Forex. Thank you so much from my brothers, from my bottom of my heart. Learned a lot of things from you. Appreciate your videos. That's why I asked you about Indian market. Okay, that's awesome, man. I'm happy for you. I love that. Are you trading the Indian markets? That'd be pretty impressive if you can trade those successfully. Yeah, that'd be pretty crazy. But that makes me happy to hear, bro. Appreciate that. Appreciate you found the videos insightful and all that. The plot, you're really going at it with the pickle stuff. Funny guy. Are fair value gap types important? Yes, it's quite important to be aware of what kind of fair value gaps you're working with, right? Because you can have a breakaway gap, you can have a low probability fair value gap, a high probability fair value gap. There are classifications to the fair value gaps themselves, right? It's not just a fair value gap. It's like a one thing. There's a bunch of different classifications that you should be aware of, yes. How old are you? I'm 23. 23. But yeah, that pretty much completes the weekly forecast. Hope you found that insightful. If there is some interesting setups this week, I will consider live streaming right here on YouTube. Nice little live trading. I think we did one of those last month. There was no setup, unfortunately, never presented itself, but it was still a nice learning experience. Some nice things were discussed there. So yeah, I might hold a live trading session this week. So set those alerts, those notifications on, so you can be made aware when I get on. This plot, motherfucker. Shut it. Oh man, you're a funny guy, plot. I don't know what you're trying to do here, but you're a funny guy. You're a funny guy. Does Elite Diamond Hands allow trading during news? Yes, they do. They do. You don't have to worry about that. My guy Mohanad, nice to see you here. Nice to see you here, my friend. I missed you, brother. It's been a while. How you doing? How you doing? How's everything, Mo? How's everything, Mo? How's the detention center, my friend? How are things in that detention center? Hope nothing fishy is going on in there. Can you show your last trade breakdown? Sure thing. Sure thing. Can you be specific? Pig was kind of a stupid name. All right, plot. I don't like you anymore. I don't like you anymore. I can't believe you just said that. You broke my heart with that. I've just been backstabbed, bro. I was like, called you a funny guy, bro. Now you hating on the name. Coming for you. All right, yeah, I can go over some of my trades. Why not? Let's see. Be specific though. There was that Ethereum trade. I took that on paper. The new unicorn setup. Okay, sure thing. We can go through one of those. Which one specifically? There was a few. Let me find it. No way, Mohanad, you got funded for the first time. That's amazing, bro. That is amazing. Big respects. I'm happy for you, bro. Are you swinging? Unicorning? What are you up to? Oh, my last trade breakdown. Okay, well, I'm assuming you guys want to see the unicorn, so I'll go for the last unicorn setup that was taken right. All right. That was on ES. I was on ES off of this weekly context right here. Oh my god. Do you guys see that dog in the background? That's my dog barking. I hope you guys don't hear it, but he's pissing me off. We have the weekly internal to external right here. So let's go over that ES unicorn, right? So we need a bias. How do we establish a bias? We look at our higher time frame charts and look at where are the fair value gaps pointing? Where's the order flow pointing? Clearly bullish right here on ES. We had weekly context right here. So this is a reason we can be bullish. The reason we're bullish is because we are inside a discount array right here. This bullish internal range liquidity, right? So from that weekly chart, it's great. We can go down to the 4 hour. Give it a moment. We can go into the 4 hour right here. Right here, we have that change in the state of delivery confirmed right here with this 4 hour fair value gap displacing higher off of a weekly. So let's go back in time to where the New York Open was. Let's go right here, I believe is where we were. Let's clean some things up. So we had this 4 hour fair value gap right here. This candle closed above the second candle's high, right? So coming into the morning, I identified this as a 4 hour breakaway gap, meaning we don't need to come back in there. Likely don't expect a retracement. So that's the expectation we hold. So then I'll look for a 1 hour fair value gap, since that is a breakaway gap. So we'd go down a time frame and see if we can identify a 4 hour breakaway gap, or a 1 hour fair value gap right here. Oh, sorry. Okay, let me restart right here, because that's not what occurred. Because this right here, let's go back to where we were actually at, right here. So at the moment, this is what actually happened. That 4 hour breakaway gap hadn't been created. I was anticipating it. So let's go back here. This is what the candle looked like trading live. It looked like we were going to close above that, right? So we hadn't yet created this gap, but we did create this gap, right? So this already confirms a change in state delivery. And this is the breakaway gap that made me go down into the 1 hour and look for context in this range coming into the New York Open. So we had this 4 hour change in the state of delivery off of the weekly level. Perfect. We have our intermediate term time frames in alignment now. Now we can just look at 4 hour and 1 hour PD arrays to potentially frame unicorns off of. So let's move this further to the right here. This is a 1 hour for value gap. This right here is a 4 hour breakaway gap, 4 hour bag right here. All right, one moment. Plot, I'm sorry, bro, but I put you on timeout. You've been grounded. Right here, we'll look for any 1 hour, 4 hour PD arrays. Right here, remember, we had that 4 hour bag, so we can go into the 1 hour and look already. This 1 hour for value gap, already enough reason to potentially push higher right here. So we can go down. Once price enters this 1 hour for value gap, we want to wait for our kill zone. So 8 a.m. right here. Want to look for a unicorn right here. Now, what's okay to do is close proximity entries. I don't think this is one of them. I think conveniently this entry came right at 8 p.m. But it's totally fine if your entry comes 5 minutes, maybe even 10 minutes before the actual 8 a.m. open. It's totally fine if you see that unicorn set up right here. But this right here would be that breaker. There's that lower time frame liquidity sweep into a higher time frame PD array, followed by the displacement above the breaker right here. Right here is that not breakaway gap, that fair value gap inside the unicorn right there. Great. One moment. That's not the one I use. You know what's funny? I believe on MES, the one I was looking at, formed the actual fair value gap right here. This is the one, because I traded MES right here, but I was trading on ES right here, which is interesting. ES did not print that 5 minute fair value gap right there. Still would have taken it though, because we do have a fair value gap right here inside that breaker, so it would have been valid still. It's just interesting seeing that the difference right there, that it just peeped at. But still, there's the unicorn. There's a fair value gap in the breaker, the unicorn. Entry right there. Stop loss at the unicorn low and go for 2R, right? This is the structure of the unicorn. Break the high and then move higher right there. If you were uncertain about it right here. Quite simple, very clean. And then we got 2R, and let's just move forward in time. And yeah, very nice, very nice. That is not a unicorn, mate. Okay, buddy. Okay, buddy. I do believe that is a unicorn. Is this market replay? Yeah, this is the market replay feature. This is as textbook as they come. Very nice. But that's simply put, just finding a bias, getting a 4 hour, 1 hour PD array that is in line with your higher time frame bias, waiting for time to align, and then observing the creation of a unicorn. a breaker and fair value gap, right? Observing that lower time frame liquidity sweep right there into your higher time frame POI. So this was that 1 hour gap, followed by the displacement through the breaker, the fair value gap, entry at the breaker high, aim for 2R. Simple as that. It's very simple. So that was the ES unicorn setup right there. Let's get out of this. So yeah, guys, that was pretty much that unicorn setup. It's very simple. It's very simple, right? Again, bias, PDA in line, unicorn, kill zone, 2R. Very simple. I have a question. Why would you call that a unicorn when there is a failure swing before we displace the breaker? Let's go back. Because, where are we? Look at the overall structure right here. I do see what you're trying to say here, this failure swing. But what came and displaced, focus on the legs here. Let's focus on the actual legs. Like if we were to look this from a line chart, let's see if we can get that. There we go. We had the swing low, swing high, price breaks that swing low. Now all we're waiting for is for price to displace above this swing high. Oh my goodness. That'll do. Displace above this swing high, right? Because this is that lower time frame liquidity sweep right here. So this is not a failure swing. It's a breaker swing. We took the swing low, displaced above that swing high, come back down into it, and then move higher. That's how I view that. Right? Again, draw it very simply right here. Swing low, swing high, break the swing low, displace above that swing high that took liquidity into the higher time frame PD array, come back to that high, and then push higher right there. Regardless if we had this swing low right here formed, I'm focused on this overall structure right here. This overall price leg. Swing low, swing high, come back in. Now over here, I'm just waiting until we displace above it, come back, and then move higher. Hope that makes sense. So yeah, guys. Thank you. Understanding was that it needed to be eminently after with intention. Got you. Got you. Yeah, no, the way I view it is if we start just doing whatever over here, consolidating, I just want to see that displacement above this leg right here. And then just retrace. You know, ideally this leg has a fair value gap inside the breaker. So keep it very simple like that. Hopefully, yeah, that made sense for you. But yeah. If you guys aren't in the Discord, join. There's so much given there for free on a daily basis. I'll just send the link right here in chat in case you're not in there yet. There is the link right there. Highly recommend joining it. A lot of free information is given there on a daily basis. Does this unicorn work in Forex? Sure thing. Sure thing. It works everywhere. The unicorn model would work everywhere. I mean, for my specific unicorn model, I have tailored it to focusing on ES and NQ because there's a little bit of a difference, right? Because ES and NQ, they exhibit high volatility daily, almost, right? They have that daily volatility driver, which is why I allow myself to trade indices on days with no red folder news, because that volatility driver is built into it at the 9:30 open every single day. So ES and NQ see volatility every single day, which is why I allow myself for indices specifically, not to just focus on daily context minimum, I can also just go down into the 4-hour context, even 1-hour context, and play that, right? Because of how volatile it is on a daily basis, whereas Forex differs because Forex is very news reliant for moves and volatility. Whereas ES right here, that 930 open is very, very serves at a very high volatility injection on a daily basis, if that makes sense. But yeah, I'm sure you can use the unicorn on Forex for sure as an entry function. Do you journal trades every single day? Yes, every single day I journal trades, and I keep my journal entries. I journal the actual day, and then I journal my actual trades. I have a video on that on the YouTube. I think it's the first one if you haven't seen that. Yeah, IRL ERL works every time frame. Yes, it's fractal for sure. Why do you use a New York kill zone as 8 to 10? Why isn't it a 7 to 10, bro? Well, my kill zone's 8 to 12, actually. 8 a.m. New York Eastern Time to 12 Eastern Time. And that is just where I find the most volatility to be in the New York session, right? After 12 is lunch, and I also don't want to trade both AM and PM session because then I'm a slave to the charts and I'm essentially working a 9 to 5 at that point. I need to take a break from the charts. I can't be in front of the charts from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. to market close. That's just literally working a 9 to 5, and that's the whole point. I got into trading. I don't want to be in front of the screens all day. I don't want this to suck the life out of me. I want to have time to enjoy life, and for that reason, I just focus on trading those 4 hours in the morning, 8 to 12, and being done with my day after 12. And yeah, it's quite nice. And I do think the AM session 100% is way more high probability, provides way more opportunities than the PM session. So I would just focus on that. Free my boy Plot before closing the live. I don't know how to I don't know how to free him, bro. I don't know how to free him. YM. All right, I haven't looked at YM. Why not? Let's look at YM. I don't look at YM a lot. I really just like focusing on ESN and Q. YM tends to do its own thing a lot of the time. So it's monthly, on a weekly basis. Clearly much stronger than our friends ESN and Q right here. Weekly breakaway gap. So let's look at the daily right here. See if we have daily context to work with. We don't have daily context right here. Currently moving higher off of this daily internal, and then we push higher, ultimately taking these highs right there. Nice delivery. Let's look at the 4 hour. Looks like it wants to push towards this high. This high right here looks like a fake top. Do expect this 4 hour for value gap to just hold and take us to those highs. Very gross delivery though, typical of a bank holiday right here. So I do think we expand higher. Yeah, there's nothing else I could really say about that except bullish. Don't close down before playing. Yeah. What is unicorn? I'll make a video on that. But it's a breaker in for a value gap. Can you do videos on kill zones? For sure. Yeah, I could write that down. Put that in on the list. I'll carry or will. All right. All right. Well, yeah, Discord would be great. Appreciate that, James. How much you put much stock in inverted fair value gaps? No, I don't. I don't look at inverted fair value gaps at all. I think that fair value gaps on the most recent side of order flow will always take precedence, and it just clears up a lot of things. Keeps it very simple. We're just always working with the most right side of our charts. Typically, when you do see an inverted fair value gap being used, there is already a fair value gap on the recent side that is already present, and we're moving off of that anyways. So to keep things very simple, I just focus on recent regular fair value gaps. Doesn't mean they don't work. Doesn't mean inverted doesn't work. I'm sure it does. But I just don't put much focus into that. Just focus always on recent fair value gaps, not old inverted ones like this, right? Because, well, here's a great example. This is what you might see as an inverted fair value gap, but what did we end up moving higher off of? Wow, a fair value gap on the most recent order flow leg. Wow, what a surprise. See, it's a great example right there. All right, so sweet. Let me see any more questions. Bye, bro. See you in tomorrow's New York Open. See you, bro. See you, Stuff. Have a great one. Thanks for tuning in, my man. I think we're going to end it here. Went in a little more time than I expected, but no problem. I do enjoy doing this stuff. So sweet. Thanks, guys, for tuning in. I'm going to wrap it up right here. Hope you all have a great week. Let me play a little outro song and see you guys tomorrow. Let's have a great one. Let's kill it. All right, guys, I'm done. Have a great week. I'm gonna end it right here. I just want to see how those unicorns potentially played out, but of course, there's a reason we avoid these bank holidays, as price action is less than favorable. Delivery tends to be very sloppy. Setups don't work. So, pretty good example of that right there. Hope that was insightful. I love you guys. Peace out. Bye bye. All right, how do I stop the stream? Oh, here it is. All right, bye bye.